That's how it's looking. Back to you both.
Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you. Now, you might find this hard to believe, but according to a recent poll, 40% of us believe in ghosts, nearly a quarter of us believe in astrology and the horoscopes as well.
So, would you walk the corridors or stairs at the television centre late at night? That's what it looks like, you see. It's the editor lurking in the corridors there. Many of our producers don't dare. Is it because we're becoming more aware of the supernatural? Or are we all just becoming a bit more gullible?
Yeah. See, I like how you said that was the editor walking up the stairs. It could have been like a spirit from like a century ago.
Could have been, couldn't it?
Should we stop believing in the polls? Joining us in the studio is clairvoyant and tarot consultant Anne Jirsch, and from our Edinburgh studio is psychologist Professor Richard Wiseman. And it's fascinating, isn't it, all of this? Let's start with you first of all, Anne.
It is really fascinating. I've been watching how people have changed their views over the years, and people are much more aware. I think in the original study in the 50s showed not so many people were interested in ghosts, and far more today. But today people are more aware of, they're more sensitive, they're more aware of energy, they're more aware that they're made of energy. So where in the 50s they might have thought they expected a ghost to be like a cavalier with his head under his arm, today they're more aware of, I was having a difficult time, I could smell my grand's perfume and I knew she was around me. So people are more aware that it's more subtle. And I think people talk more about these things now.
Really? You see, Professor Wiseman, I'm curious about that, because I would have thought, in many ways, modern society we live in, we're all in a hurry, we're all rushing around buying stuff, watching big plasma TVs. In a way, I would have thought it would be the opposite, that we have less time and possibly we're less tuned in to other things around us. What's your experience?
Well, I think what's interesting is why people believe in ghosts. Around about 10% do, because they've had some kind of weird ghostly experience, but a lot of people have heard about these experiences on the media, and we've had this big rise in shows where people are running around allegedly haunted places with night vision cameras screaming, and so they're seeing that sort of thing and thinking, oh yeah, ghosts must be out there. So I think there is a big rise in interest in science and technology, but it doesn't accompany a drop in these sorts of beliefs. They tend to be two completely different sets of beliefs.
And do you think they are? When you say that those stories have gone up and people think that they have experienced or witnessed something odd going on, do you then believe, or have you got a different explanation?
Oh, I'm completely sceptical about it. So I think there's very little evidence for ghosts. I think with people's experiences, often it's them just going into a very scary place and essentially scaring themselves. We just conducted a very big study at the Edinburgh Science Festival looking at the photographic evidence for ghosts, and people sent in these images from all around the world. The vast majority of them have an absolutely normal explanation. So very sceptical about the evidence, but as we've seen this morning, this poll showing there is still a very big belief in this stuff.
Now, Anne, obviously, I mean, I say obviously, you believe in ghosts, you're a clairvoyant. You believe in other things going on around us.
Yeah.
I mean, did that come to you? I mean, did you have something happen that made you start thinking about it?
I more went and studied and went to investigate all things. How do people get to be intuitive? I travelled. I looked at lots of different cultures to see what do people believe and what's behind it. I do read a lot of the science. In all my books, I've mentioned science. In my first book, Instant Intuition, I mentioned masses of science. That we're so blessed these days. There's so many scientists out there proving that there's more to energy.
But did you come to it all as a sceptic, or did you come to it thinking, I believe in ghosts, I'll go and prove it?
No, I didn't actually believe anything that much. My grandmother was a fortune teller, and I wanted to see if there was more to it.
What do you say to people who say, anybody who believes in astrology, tarot cards, coming to you, any of this stuff, they're just gullible?
Well, people like Einstein believed, people like Socrates and Plato believed in the mystical. So they believed that there was such a thing as energy. They believed there was more to it. And when they've done studies into people that are very successful, the higher up the ladder they are, the more liable they are to believe in intuition and hunches.
It's interesting. And Professor Wiseman, you're in the right place, aren't you? Because hasn't Edinburgh got lots of alleged ghosts lurking in every corridor and tower?
Apparently it has. It's supposed to be the most haunted place in Europe, and we've conducted some investigations here. And what they show is that people are essentially going into these places that have a reputation for being haunted. If they believe in ghosts, they're becoming essentially hyper-vigilant. They're listening out for any small cues or, you know, the doors opening and creaking and so on, scaring themselves and then attributing it to a ghost. So we can talk about things like intuition, for example. Yes, it is slightly mysterious, but it doesn't mean there's anything paranormal or supernatural going on. You know, we all make intuitive judgments, some of them right, some of them wrong. wrong. When it comes to science and the paranormal, science is often about the mysterious, things we don't know and don't fully understand, but you don't need to have a closed mind and say, therefore, it's due to ghosts. There may be lots of things which account for these experiences. So I think the scientific view is, OK, you know, let's see what's going on here. Most scientists wouldn't believe in ghosts at all because there's very, very little evidence for them, if any at all.
OK, Professor, thank you very much for that. We will have to leave it there.
Yeah.
Professor Wiseman, thank you.
Nothing
and thank you
in the
very
studio,
much.
though, Anne.
Well, there's a nice little energy here. Yeah, there is.
Thank you very
That's
much.
Sonia.
Thank you.
Still to come on breakfast this morning. That was a strange noise. What happened there?
Who knows?